Hello again, my name's Gabe Zolna. One of my viewers brought my attention to the missing 13th Amendment. I'm going to attach a link. It's most interesting. You've heard me say this before a number of times. It doesn't matter because there's no one you can go to. But you should be able to go to someone. The missing 13th Amendment. No lawyers allowed in public office. Written by David M. Dodge, a researcher, 080191. In the winter of 1983, archival research expert David Dodge and former Baltimore police investigator Tom Dunn were searching for evidence of government corruption in public records stored in the Belfast Library on the coast of Maine. By chance, they discovered the library's oldest authentic copy of the Constitution of the United States, printed in 1825. Both men were stunned to see this document included a 13th Amendment that no longer appears on current copies of the Constitution. Moreover, after studying the amendment language and historical content, they realized the principal intent of the missing 13th Amendment was to prohibit lawyers from serving in government. So began a 7-year nationwide search for the truth surrounding the bizarre constitutional puzzle in American history, the unlawful removal of a ratified amendment from the Constitution of the United States. Since 1983, Dodge and Dunn have uncovered additional copies of the Constitution with the missing 13th Amendment printed in at least 8 separate publications by 10 different states and territories over 4 decades, from 1822 to 1860. In June of this year, 1991, Dodge uncovered the evidence that the missing 13th Amendment had indeed been lawfully ratified by the state of Virginia and was therefore an authentic amendment to the American Constitution. If the evidence is correct and no logical errors have been made, the 13th Amendment restricting lawyers from serving in government was ratified in 1819 and removed from the U.S. Constitution during the turmoil of the Civil War. Since the amendment was never lawfully repealed, it is still the law today. The implications are enormous. Well, they'd only be enormous if we had a true and just government, if we had a true and just Supreme Court, if we had a true and just Department of Justice. But we don't have any of those. The story of the missing amendment is complex and at times confusing because the political issues and vocabulary of the American Revolution were different from our own. However, there are essentially 2 issues. What does the amendment mean? And what was the amendment ratified? Before we consider the issue of ratification, we should first understand the amendment's meaning and consequent current relevance. Meaning of the 13th Amendment. The missing 13th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States reads as follows. Quote, if any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall without the consent of Congress accept and retain any present, pension, office, or emolument of any kind whatsoever from any emperor, king, prince, or foreign power, such person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States and shall be incapable of holding any office or trust or profit under them or either of them. You want to read the rest of it, but what I find really amazing is that the Founding Fathers knew what lawyers were all about. And Congress? Well, it's full of lawyers. So is the Senate. They're all full of lawyers. So maybe if Donald becomes POTUS, he'll take a hard look at the 13th Amendment and clean house. I want to thank my viewer for bringing this to my attention. You want to read all of what's attached. It's most interesting. You might want to ask your attorney representative what he or she thinks. You sure know what I think. You know what Dodge and Dunn thought back when they found this. The question now is, what do you think?